In 1990, the Winnipeg Jets broke their own heart. They traded Dale Hawerchuk, the greatest player in their history, the man who put Winnipeg on the NHL map, to the Buffalo Sabres. At the time, it felt like a surrender. And in a way, it was the beginning of the end for the Jets 1.0. 6 years later, the team would leave for Phoenix. But while this trade couldn't save hockey in Winnipeg, it provided the fuel that powered the franchise through its darkest transition. The assets from this single deal traveled from the snowy plains of Manitoba to the deserts of Arizona, providing the face of the franchise for two different cities over the next decade. Today, we are doing a forensic deep dive into the Dale Hawerchuk trade tree. We are tracking every single player, pick, and future consideration involved. This is the story of the trade that outlived the Winnipeg Jets themselves. The date is June 16th, 1990. The draft floor in Vancouver. The trade is massive. To Buffalo, Dale Hawerchuk, and a 1990 first-round pick, 14th overall. To Winnipeg, Phil Housley, Scott Arniel, Jeff Parker, and a 1990 first-round pick, 19th overall. Let's quickly clear the Buffalo side so we can focus on the chaos in Winnipeg. Buffalo used that 14th pick to draft Brad May. He plays 425 games, 156 points, and over 1,300 penalty minutes over 7 seasons with Buffalo, giving Buffalo the iconic May Day goal in 1993. But in February 4th, 1998, May is traded with a 1999 third-round pick to Vancouver for Jeff Sanderson. Sanderson gives Buffalo 168 games, 65 points over 3 seasons before being claimed by Columbus in the expansion draft in 2000. While Hawerchuk gives Buffalo 5 Hall of Fame caliber seasons, 385 points in 342 games, before signing with St. Louis in 1995. The Sabres got exactly what they paid for. But for Winnipeg, this trade became a sprawling web of assets that would define their future. We have to start with the dead ends, because even the failures tell a story. First, Jeff Parker. Parker was a depth winger included to balance the contracts. Tragically, he never played a single game for Winnipeg. He suffered from persistent health issues and concussion symptoms that ended his career shortly after the trade. Years later, after his passing in 2017, he was diagnosed with CTE. His branch of the tree ends immediately, a somber reminder of the era's physical toll. Next, Scott Arniel. He plays 1 season, scoring 4 goals, but on November 22nd, 1991, the Jets traded him to Boston for future considerations. Now, usually, future considerations turns into a late pick or cash, but in this case, the trail goes cold. There is no public record of Winnipeg ever receiving a tangible asset. The Scott Arniel branch officially dies here, disappearing into the void of NHL transaction logs. That leaves the main roster piece, Phil Housley. He was incredible. In 3 seasons, he posted 259 points from the blue line. He did his job. But in 1993, with the Jets' finances crumbling, they trade him to St. Louis for Nelson Emerson and Stéphane Quintal. Let's track Nelson Emerson. He was instantly effective, even infamous. He's best known for the hand goal in 1993 against Chicago, where he literally gloved the puck into the net, and without video review, it counted. But the asset value didn't last. In 1995, he was traded to Hartford for Darren Turcotte. Turcotte plays 1 season, then is moved with a 1996 second to San Jose for Craig Janney. Janney plays 158 games, 126 points over 3 seasons for Winnipeg and later Phoenix. By 1998, he's moved to Tampa Bay for Louis DeBrusk and a 1998 fifth-round pick. DeBrusk gives Phoenix 3 seasons, 115 games and 7 points, then is gone. With the 1998 fifth, Phoenix selects Jay Leach, 115th overall, who never plays an NHL game. Dead end. What about Stéphane Quintal? He plays 124 games, 49 points over 2 seasons, then is flipped to Montreal in 1995 for a second-round pick, which became Jason Doig, 34th overall. Doig moved to Phoenix, played a depth role, and is eventually traded with a 1999 sixth to the New York Rangers for Stanislav Nekar. He gives Phoenix 130 games before being packaged in a blockbuster deal with Nikolai Habibulin to Tampa Bay for Mike Johnson, Paul Mara, Ruslan Zaynulin, and a 2001 second-round pick. Let's open the ledger on the return for Phoenix. Mike Johnson and Paul Mara are the steady deposits. Johnson gives Phoenix 242 games and 159 points, then is traded in 2006 to Montreal for a 2007 fourth-round pick. Phoenix takes Vladimir Ruzicka, 103rd overall, who never plays an NHL game. Mara adds 323 games and 142 points. Solid value. Then the assets start moving fast. Mara is packaged with a 2007 third to Boston for Nick Boynton and a 2007 fourth. Phoenix flips the fourth, and Tyson Nash for backup goalie Mikael Tellqvist. Tellqvist is eventually turned into a fourth, which is packaged to trade down in the 2010 draft. The result? Mark Visentin and Oscar Lindberg. Visentin plays one single game. Lindberg is traded for Ethan Warek, who plays 0. A lot of maneuvering for one game. Boynton plays 2 seasons, then is flipped with Keith Ballard and a 2008 second to Florida for the big swing, Olli Jokinen. Jokinen gives them 42 points in 57 games, but he doesn't stick. He's traded to Calgary with a 2009 third for Matthew Lombardi, Brandon Proust, and a 2010 first. Let's track that Calgary package. Matthew Lombardi has a career year with 53 points, then walks to Nashville. Brandon Proust plays 1 season, is traded back to Calgary for Jim Vandermeer. Vandermeer plays 1 season, is moved to Edmonton for Patrick O'Sullivan, who never plays a game for Phoenix. The 2010 first-round pick, Phoenix selects Brandon Gormley at 13th overall. This is where the asset trail spirals. Gormley plays just 32 games, traded to Colorado for Stephen Elliott. Elliott plays 19 games, traded to Nashville for Victor Bartley. Bartley is immediately packaged with John Scott to Montreal for Stefan Fournier and Jared Tenorti. Tenorti, 7 games. Fournier, 0 games then, is traded to Tampa Bay for Jeremy Morin. Morin, 0 games. From Phil Housley's 259 points, all the way down to Jeremy Morin's empty stat line, the asset chain completely dissolves. The 2001 second-round pick becomes Matthew Spiller, 31st overall. He gives Phoenix 59 games with 1 point total. Finally, we track the Ruslan Zaynulin branch. Zaynulin never plays an NHL game, but Phoenix still squeezes value out of him. He's packaged with Kirill Safronov and a 2002 fourth to Atlanta for 3 pieces. Darcy Hordachuk, a 2002 fourth, used on Lance Monich, 97th overall, and a 2002 fifth, used on John Zeiler, 132nd overall. Monich and Zeiler never play a game for Phoenix. Dead ends. Hordachuk plays 26 games as an enforcer, then is packaged with a 2003 second to Florida for Brad Ferentz. Ferentz gives Phoenix 78 games over 2 seasons before being moved to New Jersey for a trio of players: Pascal Rhéaume, Ray Schultz, and Steven Spencer. The result? Rhéaume, Schultz, and Spencer combined to play exactly 1 game for Phoenix. It took 5 trades and 10 different assets just to get 1 single game played. That is the definition of a trade tree dead end. So, on one side of the ledger, you have decay. Assets withering away into nothing. But the trade tree didn't end there, because Winnipeg still had that 19th overall pick from 1990. They used it to select a kid from Boston University, Keith Tkachuk. While Hawerchuk was the polite superstar of the 80s, Tkachuk was the power forward of the 90s. He scored 50 goals. He became the captain. When the Jets moved to Phoenix in 1996, Tkachuk was the face on every billboard. He literally carried the franchise into its new era, posting 623 points in 640 games in 10 seasons. But the tree still wasn't done. In 2001, the Phoenix Coyotes traded Tkachuk to St. Louis for a massive package: Michal Hanzus, Ladislav Nagy, Jeff Taff, and a 2002 first-round pick. Let's track every single one. Jeff Taff plays 79 games over 2 seasons for the Coyotes, but is traded on October 18, 2005 to the New York Rangers for Jamie Lundmark. He suits up in 38 games, then is traded to Calgary for a 2006 fourth-round pick. This pick is packaged with another 2006 fourth to the New York Islanders for a third-round pick. Phoenix uses the pick to select Jonas Anilov, 88th overall, and never plays an NHL game. The 2002 first-round pick gets burned in a sequence of moves to acquire tough guy Ben Eager, who was later packaged to Philadelphia with Sean Burke and Branko Radivojevic for Mike Comrie. He puts up 95 points in 132 games over 3 seasons, then is sent to Ottawa for Alexei Kaigorodov, who doesn't play a game with Phoenix. But Ladislav Nagy, he becomes a star in Phoenix, posting 249 points in 321 games over 6 seasons. He's eventually traded to Dallas for Matthias Charnqvist and a 2007 first-round pick. Phoenix gets 2 seasons out of Charnqvist, then is gone, while the 2007 first is moved to Edmonton for a later 2007 first and a second. These picks become Nick Ross, 30th overall, and Joel Ystedt, 36th overall, and combine to play 0 NHL games. And finally, Michal Handzus. He plays 2 seasons before being traded to Philadelphia with Robert Esche for goalie Brian Boucher and a 2002 third-round pick. Phoenix selects Joe Callahan, 70th overall, who doesn't crack the NHL with Phoenix. Brian Boucher stays in Phoenix and sets the modern NHL record with 5 consecutive shutouts. In 2006, Brian Boucher is sent to Calgary with John Leclerc for Philippe Sauvé and Steven Reinprecht. Sauvé is traded the following season to Boston for Tyler Redenbach and never plays an NHL game. Reinprecht plays 231 games, 143 points over 4 seasons with Phoenix. But in June 2009, he is moved to Florida for Stephen Meyer, who doesn't play an NHL game. When Meyer leaves in free agency in 2010, the final branch of the Dale Hawerchuk trade tree finally dies. So, here is the verdict. Winnipeg traded their heart and soul. It was painful. But in return, they got Keith Tkachuk, a player who defined the franchise for a decade. And when Tkachuk was done, the Coyotes turned him into Ladislav Nagy and a record-breaking goalie. Essentially, the Dale Hawerchuk trade kept a star player on the roster from 1990 all the way to 2006. It bridged the gap between Winnipeg and Phoenix. It hurts to lose a legend. But if you have to do it, this is how you do it. What do you think? Was Tkachuk a worthy successor to Hawerchuk? Let me know in the comments. And if you want to see a trade tree that went horribly wrong, click this video right here. This is Puck Pulse. Thanks for watching.